Alright, hey everybody, so we're going to continue with the Shoop project, which we're basically just taking all of the basic data types from Swift and mapping them into this concept that we're playing with. So I had an idea, and it's kind of from the last video where we were talking about the HTML component and how our HTML elements, and basically with that project, one of the things that I mentioned was I wanted the code to mimic the documentation as much as possible. So if you're looking at the HTML5 spec, you can come over to the project and you can kind of go through and see where the stuff is and everything like that. And I'm going to want to kind of do the same thing here. So comparing Boolean values, so we're going to do, even though we don't have any code for this yet, I'm going to go ahead and just put comparing there. And then we have transforming, and you might be thinking like, wait, I thought we were doing, trying to do more functional style stuff, and we're transforming things, and we are. And part of the reason that we're doing it is that right now PHP does not have a way to pipe things, right? So I can't, when we do something like result toggle bool, I can't pipe in the result of this function into the next function. Now there was a can't remember what they call it, RFC, request for change or something, where basically what you would do is you would be able to say toggle, and then it was literally a pipe operator, so it was pipe greater than, and then we could say bool, right? And so that way we could take the output and feed it into as input into the next one. So which is kind of, I'm not going to go there. So I don't want to start that debate necessarily. So transforming, so toggle does belong there. That's good. So we'll leave that there. And then we have next random. And that's probably what we're going to work on today. And then describing, so let's go ahead and do describing. And then inspecting. I don't know what these do, so I'm not sure that we're actually going to use them. And then these are all initializers, data value. I'm not sure what's going on there. So yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So now let's try to do this random thing. So one, I still don't know how you test for random without. Yeah, no, I'm just not even going to say it. So yeah, I have no idea how you're going to test for random, and that I think should return ESBool, right? Because we want to have like one function that says give me the raw value, and it's going to be, in this case, it's going to be bool, at least for now. Now we did something like this over in the str class, right, where we have random as well. And so I'm going to sort of steal that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pick a number between, a random number between 1 and 1000, right? So we'll just call that int, and what we're going to return though is we're going to return int modulo 2 equals 0. So basically what we're doing is this is going to be 1 to 1000, right? Some random number, and it's going to be, say, 4 or 3. Then we're going to get down here, and just in case you don't know what modulo is, Basically, it's arithmetic that gives you the remainder without any of the solids, right? So let's say we were going to divide 4 into 5, right? So that would be 1 point, so the remainder, what is it, 1.25? Something like that. What modulo does is it basically says, yeah, so the remainder is 2.5. Okay? And so what we're doing here is we're basically saying with modulo 2 is, so modulo 2 of 25 is going to be 2, so 1, 2.5, so modulo would be 0.5. Now, because that's not 0, we know that 25 is not an equal number, right? And so what we're basically asking is, okay, you picked a random number between 1 and 1,000. And then we check to see if it was even or not. And if it wasn't, then we're going to return false. If it was, then we're going to return true. And I'm trying to think. I mean, I suppose a quick way to do this would be assert equals true result. We toggled it once, so let's just do result random. But instead of 1 to 200, we're going to say random 2 to 2. And that should give us, oops, syntax error. Bool test line 18. Oh, it didn't give us one of our parentheses. Return value of random must be ESBool. Oh. Yeah, so let's do that. So random bool, okay. And we're going to return ESBool, init. There we go. So, and it will always be this way, right? Like it'll always go, but we don't want, obviously, random between 2 and 2. That's not very helpful. So now let's just do this, and it should fail. And we should be able to just say false, because now we're using an odd number, right? So we can at least demonstrate that the logic was sound of how we got there. So there we go. So random, and then random with this, let's not put that in there yet. Oh, and this is static. These are both static. Should we make it static? Sure, why not? I mean, it's effectively an initializer at that point. Yeah, let's grab the comment as well. So let's come up here, and we're going to say after init, we have random initializers. So static function random ESBool, and it does return an ESBool, which makes sense. And yeah, then you can just toggle it and do whatever you want with it. Not going to do the one that takes the closure. Description. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. No, totally forgot. Comparing and all those other things. All right, so now these are static as well. It's fascinating to me, all of these static ones. So let's do comparing comparing. I'm fighting myself. I don't want those to be static. I don't think. I just don't think we want that. So let's just go ahead and make them. Now the question is, do we do and R, right, is same as, right, which is this strict, well, strict for Swift comparison, or do we do equals? I think something in my heart of hearts says that we should do is same as. So is same as, and we're going to accept an ESBool, and it's going to be, we're going to call it compare, and it's going to return an ESBool. Yeah. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to return this value triple equals compare bool. And so let's spin up another ESBool called compare. We're going to make that false this time. And then we're going to say this assert equals expected is false. No. Let's just do assert false, and we're going to say result is same as compare bool. Errors is same as, oh, Boolean returned, right, so we're going to do ESBool init, okay, colon, colon, or, yeah, colon, colon. Errors, unexpected, ESBool 34. Oh, right. Helps to put a function name in there. Alright, so it's a failure. Why is it a failure? Well, so we start out as true. We don't do anything. We toggle it to false. This starts as false. Oh. Really? Alright. So we're going to go ahead and var dump this bool. And var dump compare bool. See what we get. Nope, they're both false, so do we need to do just double double? Yeah, because I think compare, maybe that's going to look at it as being different in some way, maybe. Nope, alright, so let's var dump this bool equals 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 compare bool. Let's see what this third one is. True. Am I asking for false? Oh, right. Right. Is it the same? Yes, it's the same. Let's delete all that. Okay. Oh, and get our third equals in there. All right, so now is not same as. I'm going to pass in an ESBool, call it compare. We're going to say ESBool, and then we're going to return ESBool init this bool does not equal compare bool. Okay, so what are we going to do to make that happen? I'm going to say compare, I'm going to say toggle, and then we're going to say assert true again, result is not same as, and we're going to put result in there, and or no, compare, and then bool. 52 assertions passing. That's very promising. Okay, so now we have the toggle, and now toggle is pretty much the same thing as not. Right? Because not, it just does whatever the reverse is. So in Swift, just to kind of explain some of this, and I think I did a little bit in the string video, but basically function names can have whatever symbols really, including these operator symbols. So you can actually define what equals means for you. Right? Whereas with a lot of languages, even like PHP is this way, Objective-C was this way, and that sort of a thing. Like equals was just known, and you had to do some kind of special things to figure that out. So, and I think that's why they're all static, really, is because the compiler is going to figure things out. So, so not. We're still in transforming. We're in transforming. So basically what this is saying is, so I'm just going to call it not, just because. And one of these is going to call the other. I think we're just going to do return this toggle. So if we do this assert true compare not, that should fail because it's false right now. Yep, failed asserting object value false is true. So, oh hey, I'm digging this readout. When did that happen? So this should be false because we have toggled it to false. So if we toggle it again, which is what not does, it should end up being, yeah. No? Really? Oh! I'm lame. I need to return the actual bool value. So I need to call the bool function. There we go. 53 assertions, 53 passing. Performs a logical OR operation on 2 booleans. Right, so basically one has to be true, right? We learned this in the style library. So let's stick it with transform. Okay, so basically now we're going to say public function, or we're going to take in an ESBool, and then we're going to return a new ESBool, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to say if this value, if this bool or bool, right, the second bool being a function call, then we're going to return ESBool init, right? Otherwise, we're going to return ESBool init with false inside of it. And we're going to say this assert true, because I think one of these is set to true right now. We're going to say or, and we're going to say compare, and we're going to say bool. No, they're both false apparently. So if they're both false, we should get false. That's good. Okay. Totally cheating. Alright, so now we're going to do compare. We're going to toggle that. And we're going to say this assert true compare or nope, x result paste bool. There we go. 55 assertions and they're all passing. So and the and operator. So function public and ESBool bool ESBool. Then we're going to say we're just going to grab or and do this. And okay, so right now they're both true, so we're going to say this assert, at least I think they're both true. One of them is true, at least. So result and compare bool. Alright, so the compare is true right now, so let's go ahead and toggle result, and right, so they're both true. And then I'm going to go ahead and toggle compare again. This assert true result and compare bool. Really? So let's go ahead and var dump result bool and compare bool. False, false, so compare. Apparently we didn't need to toggle that. Oh, no, we're trying to we're trying to say that it's going to be false because compare is false. Whew. Okay, 57 and going strong. All right. So we have the or, we have the and. I think that's pretty much it for Boolean, at least for right now, because we have the equals, we have the not equals. Yeah, and this is good. So and the reason that I say that is because one of the things that I have in the README is, where is it? Yeah, class methods should be named to favor the result rather than the command, right? So instead of us throwing commands at ESBool, right? Like, is same as, right? Are you the same? Or toggle or whatever. It's more along the lines of what result are we going to get, right? And or yeah, just basically not being like thou shalt do this, right? Like it's not a yeah, it ain't like that, so to speak. So basically, we're asking it questions. Are you the same as this one? No. Okay. Are you not the same as this one? Yes. Okay. This is not thing is probably going to be the most confusing thing ever. Um, but yeah, like that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, so it's nice. So toggle and then not. I don't know how I feel about that one. The or and the and just straight description. Like, could I get the description? So yeah, I'm digging it. So what I think we should do next. Where did that one list go? That was such a nicer list. I think we should go ahead and jump into string again. No, maybe not. No, let's stick with numbers and basic values. So let's just do int next. All right. So we've got initializers. Some more initializers. I do find it fascinating that we're rounding to 0. Okay, I was about to say we're initializing with a float. Now that is one of the other things that we're going to be able to get, right? So when we were talking about the string, we noticed that it had a bunch of different ways to initialize it based off of what was actually passed in and so on and so forth. Well, with Swift, it's going to know that through the compile time, right? So basically, what type of stuff are you passing in? And with PHP, as a scripting language, it doesn't really have that affordance. But if we do, like from double, from float, and we have those classes that can actually be passed in, and we get the type safety, right, of being able to say, no, this takes a double or this takes a float. So yeah, we should be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And then converting strings. We like our random. And no, this actually kind of makes sense, right? So, but they pass in this range. And I do have that marked down, range, I think. Yeah, a range class. And this is interesting because this is, I think, the second or third one that I'll be building. So, yeah, maybe we should just start with range, since we know int is going to need it. Let's see, this is the part that gets me. Is that in Swift it's created by an operator. So basically you have the dot less than, which is the range, right? So it's going to give us 0.0 up to 5 dot or up to basically 4.9, right? Because it's saying all the way up to, but not including 5.0. Whereas if it just said dot, 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 you know, like in poetry, then it would be from 0.0 to 5 to up to and including 5.0. So but there's also the difference between a range and a closed range, right? So a closed range is the one that goes up to and including, right? So let's go ahead and click here, and there should be a link to closed range. Struct, closed, where bound, comparable. Okay, so, and this is what I was talking about with the protocol-driven development stuff, is having these, in PHP terms, this would be an interface. In Swift, it's a protocol, or I mean, ultimately, it's just a contract saying these are the methods that if you want to be able to tell other people that you conform to this, these are the methods that you have to have, right? So it's sort of a way to create a ubiquitous language or a ubiquitous interface between objects and things like that. So, all right, dot, dot, dot. This is the closed range. I'm starting to think that with the range, we don't need a closed range. Like that's going to be an initializer thing. So we basically would have init and no, like, okay, so static public function, right? Init, and basically what we would have is we would have the min. So let's say int for now. So we'd have the min, comma, int max bool is or includes max, and by default I think we're going to want to say that includes max is going to be true. I think our default range is going to be more what closed range is, and you have to explicitly say, are we including the max? No. Okay. And then we'll do different things. Now it's just a toggle. I will say what's nice about having them as separate classes is that we don't necessarily need to account for this rule. This includes max rule, and that may be the wiser plan, right? I don't know, because I'm literally developing this stuff from scratch off the top of my head as I hit the problem. So anyhow, I think that's good for today. We did manage to get the entire Bool class, ESBool class figured out. So we can actually start using that in the next ones. I'm wondering if we should replace the strings with the ES string that we're about to build. Chances are the answer is yes. So, because again, there should be sort of only one way to get to that raw value. So yeah, no, this is looking good. We'll swing back across. I have a feeling I'm going to kind of do a top down and then a down up and make sure that everything is as it should be. All right. Thanks for making the time, and I'll see you around.